And if you have blocks, grab them. If anybody's here that doesn't have blocks, you can use pillows, like the pillows that are used for couches, things like that. Those are kind of nice because they're squarish. They tend to have some fluff to them, and then we can use them to elevate the hips so that we can be in certain postures in which we linger a little longer. Because our weekend classes, the way that I've been doing Sunday is the way that I'd like to do Saturday. And that is, um, I want to say introspective, but it is more like we're practicing awareness. We're practicing being awareness, which, if we really start to, by process of elimination, figure out who we are, it is more of a sense of we are actually just awareness itself. Um, and of course, we can go deeper than that, but that is something that we notice as we see that the body's changing in our practice. We see that the breath changes. We see that our minds constantly change. We see the environments constantly change. And the idea is that we stop identifying ourselves with all of those changing elements and see ourselves as that constant awareness. It's the awareness itself doesn't change. It's always there. It might change what it's focused on, what it's aware, what it is kind of experiencing itself kind as, but it is constant and unchanging. And so that's part of this grander idea of what yoga is. So that's why I don't focus on, having a yoga body. I don't focus on having these other things that people tend to focus on. Um, it's not why I'm here, and I want to be here for you to be able to see that constant, what is within ourselves that is constant. And sometimes it just takes time. It takes time to get there. So, not sometimes, always. It takes time, it takes practice and a sense of devotion to the practice and non attachment at the same time. So, we're going to close the eyes and start to get into our practice at this time. If you feel like, rounding the shoulders, sending them back, and just doing something first, moving around, maybe moving the head. Every morning I move my head back and forth and it goes crook, crook, every time back and forth. And then finally, that tension from sleeping in a strange way, all of it starts to kind of move through and is less bothersome. So, see if there's any of that left. I sit on a blanket first because elevating the hips is very helpful so that I can sit with a taller spine. And so see if that's helpful for you. Use a block, use a pillow. We talked about maybe you're using a blanket. And then we'll close the eyes gently. And if the eyes feel tense, maybe you're using the eyes a little bit more. Maybe they're straining with the kinds of things that you're reading and doing. Let's start our practice today by closing the eyes very tightly, and we could do that on an inhale. And then exhale, relax the eyes. Let's do this a couple more times. Inhale, scrunch the eyes, closing the lids very tightly. Exhale, relax. See if you can get that all the way into the actual eyeball itself, right? So inhale, go ahead and tense up. Exhale, relax the eyes. Now, let's do that with the mouth. So on the inhale, clench the jaw, pucker the lips. Exhale, release the lips and the jaw. Maybe even open the mouth. Inhale, clench the jaw. Exhale, release. Inhale, tighten up, just the jaw, the lips. Exhale, release. And feel the face has changed. The experience of the face has changed. And you're aware of that experience. And so we're practicing being awareness. And we're witnessing the sensation, welcoming the sensation, recognizing it as sensation, and witnessing the sensation. At this time, let's focus on deepening the breath. And we can take the hands, one hand to heart, one hand to belly, so that we can watch the motion of the trunk. So on the inhalation, draw the air in through the nostrils, but fill the belly, so it's going to expand out. Take that up to the trunk so that at the top of the inhale, the collarbone lifts. The belly goes in. On the exhale, release from the collarbone first. Make your way down to the belly. At the bottom of the exhale, the belly pulls in again. So inhale, belly drops, fill up all the way to the collarbone. Exhale, empty from the collarbone, all the way down into the belly, and it pulls in at the end. Inhaling, filling, expanding outward in order from belly to collarbone. Don't miss the rib cage. Exhale, release. Keep going. Yeah, for most of you who've been practicing with me, you probably already shifted into that breathing where the throat muscles are activated. And if you haven't, then we'll go ahead and keep doing this, but we'll activate the breath even as we're finding that expansion and contraction. So, you can empty out and then we'll start together. So we'll inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, fog out through the mouth. Mouth stays open, fog inwardly. Close the mouth, exhale through the nostrils. Moving the trunk as we did before. But now keeping the throat muscles activated. And keep breathing like this, remembering we're so active all the way through, and yet there's still calmness all the way through, physically, mentally. And so even though the throat muscles are engaged, they aren't tightening up. They're just active, calmly active, intentionally active. And so we'll keep this breath going all through the practice as often as we can. As often as we forget, let's remember just as often and just keep coming back to the breath. So at this time, let's bring the palms together, thumbs to the heart center. And some of us have been practicing the mantra over time. You may remember it. You can listen. You can chant along if you know it. This is Shiva mantra. I'll give to you the meaning of it, the translation. The true meaning of it comes to us with time and practice. And as we come more and more into the state of peace, much of this meaning becomes more and more apparent. And so I'll give that now. We will then chant Om together 3 times, followed by the mantra itself. And then Om Shanti to signify peace in all the realms. I bow to the presence of the divine within, our true and highest teacher, that lives in and around us as being, consciousness, and bliss. It is ever present and radiates peace, lighting the way to transformation. And deep breath in. At a higher note, we'll hold it first. Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtaye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's begin our physical practice by coming forward to hands and knees and then sinking right into child's posture. So when you're there, bring the big toes together, let the knees come apart, and then lower the trunk. And we want to be creative with the use of our blocks. So again, for those that have blocks, remember them. I won't always remind us when to use them, but this early in the morning, it is difficult sometimes, as open as we can be on a daily basis. In the mornings, the body is a little different. It's been still for so many hours lying in a bed, and the curves of the spine, the spine has endured so many strange positions probably as we were sleeping. It's always advised, even before meditation, to move the body, to open up the body. And that is essentially what this physical yoga practice is for, why it came to be, so that we can have the body relaxed enough and open and strong enough to support itself, so that we can work with the mind. We'll take about 3 more deep breaths here. And then as we're here, just gently lift the head. Keep the hips low. Just lift the head. Lift it as high as it'll go, and then exhale, lower the head down. And we're just going to take this simple movement. So inhaling, lifting the head as high as it'll go, but keeping the hips low, and then lowering the head. Just take a few more of these at your pace, coordinating breath and movement. One more time, lifting the head. And then we'll inhale, lift the head, and continue to lift the trunk and walk the hands so that you come to seated on the heels. The knees are spread apart. Let's bring the knees closer together. If this is really bothersome, um, because let's say the bend in the knee is too much, you can sit on a blanket. You can fold the blanket over so you could get a little bit of height. You can do the same thing. You put the blanket on top of the legs or the feet. You could do the same thing with blocks. And that's pretty neat, actually. It feels really good. And then you'll get less of a bend in the knees if you have knee issues. But what we're going to do while we're here is like a cat cow. And so we're going to take hands to the knees. And on the inhale, expand through the trunk, send the heart forward, send the shoulders back, and the head back. And on the exhale, pull the belly in. We need these muscles to contract. Exhale, bring the chin down. This way, we can empty the lungs more thoroughly. So inhaling, filling up completely, and sending the heart forward, giving more room for the lungs. Exhale, contracting, pulling everything in to get the air out. Inhaling, opening. Exhaling, releasing, closing. Take a few more of these. So this is a very easy way. I know one of us in the room has an elbow issue, and so this is a great way to um, modify a cat-cow on the hands and knees. You know, if you think about how yoga can be performed in a chair itself, then we can really like see the creativity in the practice and the many, many ways we can create variations. And so we'll take a few more, but yes, it does take creativity and a sense of intuition, being completely with the body and responding to it. Now we're going to find a neutral posture, and this time we're going to pick up the pace a little bit. So we can drop the throat activity, and now we're just going to go a little bit more forcefully through the nose. So it'll be quicker breaths, but that force will help us still draw in and out the same amount of air theoretically. So on the inhale, go ahead and fill, exhale, release. Inhale, exhale. Continue. Inhale, exhale. We're going to go a little bit longer, and maybe you even start to sense that your heart is picking up the pace, that maybe a slight little bit of almost feel like you're about to sweat. The heat in the body picking up. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, release, and just collapse for a couple deep breaths. You can let that go through the mouth. Maybe shake the head out. Feel the shoulder blades separate from each other. Not holding on to the head in any way, just totally releasing it. And now from here, let's see if we can lower right into a child's posture. So some will keep the knees together and lower and just see how low you go. And then if you notice that you can get the head to a point where you can bring support underneath it and keep the knees together and keep the head supported, then you might stay right here and experience the sensations differently in child's posture than when you were there earlier. Or if it's much better for you to take the knees apart, feel free. Let's take about 3 deep breaths and let's return to victorious breath. And the other way that that breath is translated is the victorious meaning overcoming of obstacles. And we can further that and say, if we know the true purpose of yoga, we can say the overcoming of obstacles to knowing our true divine nature. The overcoming of obstacles, knowing our true divine nature. So, whatever those obstacles that prevent us, we want to do away with them. And so, let's come into Ujjayi Pranayama once again. Deep breath in through the nose, fog out through the mouth, fog in through the mouth. Close the mouth, exhale through the nostrils. This was a long visitation to our child's posture today. And so let's find our way out of this and come to standing on the knees this time. So when we're standing on the knees, we can take the hands to the hips. Roll the shoulders a few times and take the shoulders back and down. And then right from here, let's step the right foot forward. So bring the weight over to the left knee, bring the right foot forward. Scooch the right foot forward so you'll heel toe until you come to a point where that's the furthest you can go and still maintain the right knee over the right ankle. Now let's take the elbows further back. Now at the same time, pull the pelvis in. And then relax the pelvis and sink in a little deeper. And then pull the pelvis in. You'll feel that that requires a little pressure into that left knee. And then relax. And pull the pelvis in. Also pressure in the right foot. And then go ahead and relax. Pull in and relax. Take a couple deep breaths here. Let's find a side bend here. So the right forearm to the right thigh. Inhale the left arm up and over to the right. Inhale, come to center. You can bring the hands to the hips and then push into the right foot so that you can return weight to the left knee and then take right knee to the mat next to left knee. So we'll do the other side. So we'll step the left foot forward. Then once we're there, we want to curl the toes and release the toes until that leg again creates this vertical post in the shin. Sinking into the knee, taking the elbows back. And so why take the elbows back? So that we can feel strengthening in the upper back. You could feel the squeezing of the muscles between the shoulder blades. They tend to be weaker muscles based on the way we live. So we want to attend to them and balance and strengthen them. Now we'll pull the pelvis in. We did it about 3 or 4 times. So just a few times. Go ahead and pull in. You feel pressure, a little bit more pressure into the foot and the knee. And pull in, relaxing, pulling in. And each time we're doing this, you can sense that that left knee, that you're able to lunge a little bit more deeply. And we'll pull in and then we'll release in. That's because we're activating the muscles that we're stretching when we do that. So we're here. We'll take a few deep breaths. And we'll find a side bend. Left forearm to the left thigh or the hand to the left thigh. Right arm up and over. And we'll come to center, hands to hips. Push into the right knee. Straighten the left leg a bit. And return the left knee next to the right. Now we're going to find a little bit of a back bend. So if we're standing on the knees, we're going to take the hands behind towards the sacrum. We want to learn about our bodies, so it's not the flesh of the bottom and it's not the low back. It's that bone right in between. And you can sense it. You can have the hands right there. Go take them a little further back. Now, before we find a camel posture, not all the way quite yet, we'll pull the pelvis in, and now you can sense that the glutes have become activated. So we want to keep them activated. And then as we're pressing into the sacrum, begin to stretch the heart upwards and squeeze the shoulders and the elbows back. Let the head come back slightly. Maybe a little bit more. Another deep breath. Reverse out of this so the head is the last to rise. And then let's curl back into our child's posture. So it'll feel different this time. So we'll start to lower. And if child's posture isn't your thing, it depends, if we have knee issues, if we have specific structural issues, then some people feel better in a happy baby. I'm sorry, not happy baby. Um, some people call this puppy dog, which is where I was going. I do prefer anahatasana, which is heart chakra posture. I think that puppy dog is probably um, like originally for used for children to kind of make it a fun thing. But this would be anahatasana. And if you're not there, you're in your child's posture. We'll take about 4 deep breaths. And we'll take a clearing breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Let's rise up. Now from here, we'll come into a downward facing dog. Where we'll be going next is um, we'll be coming to standing at the top of the mat. We'll be finding our forward fold first. So, if you do have an elbow injury or any wrist problems, anything like that, you don't want to be on the arms, you're more than welcome to make your way to a forward fold, which is where we'll be meeting in a moment. For those in downward facing dog, look for movement. We'll look forward, float the feet forward, top of the mat, step, walk, or jump. We can have feet Hips distance apart. Maybe legs are straight, maybe bent. If you bend the knees, you can lower the trunk a little bit more, depending on your openness. Let's take about 4 deep breaths. And we'll bend the knees. Let the head and the arms dangle loose as you start to unroll the spine. Take a couple breaths or so to get there. I remember a long time ago I took a dance class in college, and she had us do this. It took many I think it was like a 2-minute rolling up. It took so long, and it was like the smallest movements, and to be very aware of the smallest movements. So a couple breaths isn't so bad. We're going to roll the shoulders. Notice any little clicking sounds. Maybe let's explore a little bit actually. So we have feet hips distance apart and we're standing nice and tall. Let's start to circle the right arm a few times. So as we take the arm all the way, we're moving it from the shoulders, we're taking it back. Let the trunk move back. Keep the weight properly in the feet just as it was as you're facing forward. But find those really big circles. Move the trunk with the arm. Okay, let's reverse the direction. My left shoulder blade clicks every single time. The day that it doesn't click is when it's relaxed. When those muscles are not tense. There we go. It's getting there. Less and less of a click. I hope you're experiencing something similar. Go ahead and release that arm. And then we'll switch. Before we switch, though, just stand tall and pay attention to the left shoulder and the right shoulder. Pay attention to the shoulder blade, the right side, and the left shoulder blade. That such a simple movement can create such a difference. And so we'll just go ahead and move the other way. And big circles with the left arm. Keeping the breath modified, regulated, the same pace that you were taking before, even though this arm isn't going at the same pace. You can go that slowly if you'd like. I find I like to go a little bit more quickly. But keep my breath regulated. The trunk move with the arm. Now we can reverse direction. I find backwards to be much more challenging than forward. So it tells me what muscles are stronger in my body. And which are weaker. Couple more. Who knew circles could be so challenging? So once we're standing, go ahead and rotate the shoulders now in smaller circles, the arms alongside the body. Rotate them the other way. And then let's go ahead and face the long side of the mat and step the feet apart. So once you have the feet apart, take the arms out and then see if you can separate the feet a little bit more so that they're closer to where the wrists are. Now, just be there for a moment. Let's see. This is our star posture. Take the shoulders back and down. Now close the eyes for a moment. See if you can reach the fingertips away from each other on each hand. So on each hand, the fingers moving away from each other, and then hand and hand moving away from each other. Now take the hands behind the tailbone, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulders back, look upwards. Exhale, fold forward. So I had some really good movement in that one, and I will, my guess will be all that shoulder movement that we just did, including, the front of the shoulder that extends into the chest and the back of the shoulder, all of that opening meant that for my body, and I hope for yours, I actually was able to move my collarbone, a little bit of an opening. You can feel it down through the chest into the sternum. And then we'll go ahead and come up halfway and then rise all the way up to standing. Bring the arms to a T. Pivot the feet to the right. So we won't be in a mirror image today. I'm going to pivot the feet to the right. So the right toes face front of the mat. Left toes draw inwardly. It does depend on which side you are working on actually. So let's just say that we're working on the right side, which means the right knee is going to bend. Okay, then we'll bring the arms to a T. So we're in a warrior bee, Virabhadrasana, letter Ka. But we're going to shift this into extended side angle posture. So we'll bring the right forearm to the right thigh and take the left arm up and over. And now we have this like a beautiful straight line from the ankle out through the fingertips. And then look up past the fingertips on the left arm, left hand. What we'll do is develop this posture today. So take a couple more deep breaths. And then we'll inhale, start to rise, come out of this. You can straighten the right leg and pivot the feet to the left. Okay, so that the left foot is parallel to the sides of the mat. Right toes facing the side of the mat or slightly in. And then bend into the knee, left knee. This is warrior B, but we'll shift. Utthita Parshvakonasana, extended side angle posture. The right arm goes up and over. And then again, we're looking up past the right hand. If that's too much, just keep the head in a fairly neutral position. So we'll start to come out of this, rise up. Now, before we take the next modification or the next variation of that posture, I'm going to take the hands behind and interlace the fingers just like we did before. Squeeze the shoulders back, look up. Exhale, fold forward, straight legs. clearing breath, releasing all tension in the mind, in the physical body. Deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth. And then begin to rise, come up with a flat back, and then come all the way to standing. Let's heel toe the feet closer together to start. Feet are hips distance apart. Next inhale, reach the arms upwards. As you exhale, palms together, thumbs to the heart center. 3 more of these at your pace. Inhaling. Engage the thighs, pull the pelvis in. Exhaling. Next time the arms are risen, we'll find a side bend to the right. So inhaling, arms up. Exhale, bend to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Palms together, thumbs to the heart center. We're going to keep the hands here this time and step the feet apart so that we have our first position, which was like a star posture, and we're facing the side of the mat. But now we're going to shift into facing the front of the mat or wherever your right foot is landed. We're going to turn so that the right toes are facing the short end of the mat, and then the left heel presses down. So we're in a warrior A, letter Ka. We're sinking into the the right knee. We have the back heel planted. Now we're going to take our first, our earlier posture, extended side angle posture, and we will twist in that. So it'll be a revolving side angle posture. And what we'll do is begin to take the left elbow outside the right knee and press into the knee. I'm going to turn position so that I'm facing the camera and press into the knee, and then turn the heart and the head as well. And we're gazing past the right elbow. Now it might be difficult to keep the heel lifted. So to help with rotation of the spine, you can lift the heel, back heel, or for balance, you can even bring the left knee down and then rest the top of the foot on the mat and keep twisting. Let's take a couple more deep breaths. So you could feel the muscles under that left shoulder blade, like very active as it's pushing, that elbow's pushing into the leg. Now we'll inhale, rise. You can keep the hand just like this, and then pivot to the side of the mat, and then pivot to the other side. So now the left knee is lunging, the right foot is planted, the back leg is straight. Situate the feet. See if you want to lift the back heel or if you're good with the heel planted. And then begin to take right elbow outside the left knee. Push into the elbow pushing into the knee. In that, we're creating some stability. So it's really important to have that activity there, not creating tension, but activity that is also strengthening. And again, maybe that right knee comes down to the mat for balance. Looking past the left elbow. And we'll inhale, start to rise, bring the arms to a T. You could stay in your position. I'm going to switch mine to face you. We have the legs straight, the arms straight. Close the eyes. Just as we did before, take the hands, left hand, right hand, in opposite directions. Keep the shoulder blades down. Couple deep breaths. Soften the face. And then let's take the hands behind. Once again, interlace the fingers, squeeze the shoulders back, look upwards. Exhale, fold forward. Another deep breath. One more time to come up to standing. We're going to rise up, bring the arms to a T, and then we're going to find the same posture before we go further. The first extended side angle posture. So pivot your right toes to the right. Left toes can come in. Bring the arms to a T, bend into the right knee, and then take the forearm to the thigh, left arm up and over. Now you might be good here. You might go a little deeper by bringing the right hand to the mat, the fingers to the mat, to the inside of the foot, preferably to the outside of the foot. You can have that block again. If you've taken the bind and you want to go there, you want to try today, you sink a little lower to get the right shoulder to the inside of the right knee, and then wrap the arms around the back. So this one is a little bit more challenging. And sometimes it's just nice to see, well, how far am I? Okay, it's a little far, then you just pull out, just see what we're able to do. And never judging that ability, just being with it and honoring it. And then we're going to start to come out of the posture. So we'll switch. Pivot the feet to the other side. Lunge into the left knee. Forearm to the thigh. Right arm up and over. And then maybe the bind if you've been there before. It really helps to know who is in these classes, because I do know mostly who is in here, and I know what we have worked with together. And so that helps me make these decisions as we go through. And we'll start to come out. So the feet have been apart for a little bit. We're going to bring them closer together, heel toe, the feet. So they're together again, or a few inches apart. Next, inhale, reach the arms upwards. Bring the palms together, thumbs to the heart center. Take this about 3 more times. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale. This time, find your side bends. So inhaling, arms up, bending over to the right. Inhaling center. Exhaling left. Inhaling center. Palms together, thumbs to the heart center. So from the top of the mat, we'll step right up to the top of the mat. Let's inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward over the legs. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen. And then exhale, bring the hands down. What we're going to do is step the left foot to the back of the mat, bring the left knee down just like we did before, and then rise up to a crescent moon. So we'll start to lift the arms upwards and sink into the right knee. So we were here before, but we had the hands to the hips. Right, so we'll sink in and then find the side bend, right forearm to the right thigh, left arm up and over. Now we're going to come back into that twist we were in earlier, but it's a variation now. So go ahead and bring the left elbow outside the right knee, and then you can start to twist. Maybe bring the palms together and look past the elbow. And we're going to come back to center, bring hands to the inside of the right foot, and heel toe the right foot to the right. Bring the hands down. Now, before we go into this, move this right knee so that you can see the sole of the foot, and then the sole of the foot plants, and then it opens. And then when the foot plants, go ahead and see if you can lower down here. Now, this is a good spot for a blanket, for blocks, so that you can release the forearms if finding the mat is difficult for the forearms. You know, some might even be able to bring the forehead down to a block. Remember, we have 3 heights to that block, and that might feel good. We'll be here for a few breaths. And as you're here, I always find it helpful to roll over the back toes, lift the left knee to get some activity, and then to lower that knee, and then I get a little deeper in. So allow for that time to explore, for the moment to just see any little adjustments, how they change the experience of the physical body. And again, practicing being awareness. We become aware, we see, we feel, we notice, we welcome and recognize, and then we witness. Another deep breath. You're going to start to find your way up. Let's reverse out of this. So that means we're going to bring the right hand to the outside of the right foot, heel toe the right foot back to center. And then you can come up into a crescent moon, maybe arms up or hands to the hips, sink in. And then let's step up into a forward fold because that's where we began. So hands down, roll over the back toes, lift the left foot and step it up, and then step the right foot to the back of the mat. Now bring the knee down. That knee is far back behind the hip, not under the hip. And then we'll take the arms upwards. You can bring the left forearm to the thigh and then the right arm up and over for another side bend to the left. Inhale. We'll actually find our twist. So what we'll do is take that right elbow outside the left knee. And then maybe we keep the left hand where it is. Maybe we bring palms together and we're gazing past the left elbow. Soften the gaze. So that means that the way that we're looking out through the eyes, begin our practice today, really working with the eyes specifically. So see if you can relax the eyes, even though you're looking out. Relax the eyes. That means you can blur the vision. And then inhale, come to center. We'll bring the hands down to the inside of the left foot and heel toe the left foot to the left. And this is where we'll spend some time first opening and closing the leg. Keeping the left edge of the foot connected as we open the foot. And then when you're ready, planting the foot, Maybe just bending the elbows. Maybe that's all we need to do to get some intensity. Maybe we need to go further to get some intensity, each body being different and our bodies being different at every moment. Find the variation that works for you, and that variation is the one that you can breathe most deeply in. And still feel a sense of challenge, but nothing so overwhelming that you can't be in it. A couple more deep breaths, and then we'll be coming out of this. So we'll bring the hands down, and then we can bring that left hand to the outside of the left foot to bring it closer to center. Come back into a crescent moon. So we rise, and we can maybe take the arms up or hands to the hips. And then this time we'll switch and come to a child's posture just for a couple breaths. So bringing the hips down, lower the trunk. You will feel the hip flexors a little bit more here as you lower and release down, just based on what we've done. Seeing how child's posture has changed. It is always changing because it is an expression of the body. And then let's inhale, rise up. Where we were earlier on the knees, we're going to come back and look about exploring a camel posture. So we have hands back to the sacrum, pull the pelvis in, squeeze the glutes, squeeze the elbows back. Some will simply lift the heart and find their intensity there. Others might need to look for more intensity, so you could roll over the toes. You can take hands to the heels. Some might need a little bit more, so you can bring tops of the feet to the mat and then hands to the heels. We're sending the belly button forward, the heart up, maybe the head back slightly or all the way. Couple deep breaths. Reverse out of this carefully. The head is the last to rise. Bring hands to the mat, but then slide them forward immediately and come into Anahatasana, heart chakra pose. Forehead down, send the tailbone back, even though it's not lowered down to the heels. And then we'll go ahead and rise to table so we can switch to seated. And once we're in seated, let's separate the legs apart from each other and coming into a V. This is a good time for blocks if you are using blocks. So what we'll do is sit up nice and tall, maybe bend the knees if that helps elongate the spine. Let's start with a rounded back actually. So bring the chin to the chest and just start to lower the head. And if you are using a block, you might be able to find that the forehead comes to the block, although that is pretty low for some people. So if not, the head can be somewhat active, or you could get creative and Put forearms on top of the block at its highest height. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and unroll the spine and lift the head. And then we'll come into more of a fold with an elongated back so we could start to walk the hands forward. Now notice the toes, if they start to curl like inward, we want to change that, and that's coming from rotation of the hips. So we're rotating the hips outward, and so the toes are pointing up and the feet are flexed. Maybe the knees are bent, but here we want to feel the back of the legs stretching. I feel the low back a little bit. Now, again, you might be able to find the forehead to, or even the chin. So for me, I found the chin on the block is a great spot. And we'll focus on the deepest breaths here. So we aren't moving, we're not distracted by, am I supposed to do this or am I supposed to put this there? We're just in this spot. And so we can fully focus on this deep, nourishing breath. And remembering that it isn't nourishing just in the physical aspect. Yes, it is, surely. It's required for this body to function. See how that breath changes the mind. See how the breath puts the mind to rest in so many ways. See how the breath softens the eyes. See how the breath relaxes the mouth. And again, see how the breath brings to you so much peace and comfort. Not physical comfort necessarily, but this mental comfort. Mental comfort of peace, knowing that there is something deeper inside of us, much deeper than our physical body. And we're going to start to rise. And start to rise. Come all the way up. Lock the hands in. We're just about ready to rest. We're going to bring the feet so that we can cross the ankles and sit up tall. And actually, rather than that, let's bring the soles of the feet together and begin to recline. So we have soles of feet together. Begin to recline. Go back. Come down to the forearms. So this is our reclining. Forearms down, elbows down, heart forward. If elbows are not an option, you can come all the way down to the back and just be here. And actually, let's all meet there. Let's come all the way down to the back and keeping the knees open. And just bring the arms behind and feel the openness of this posture. Totally relaxing, resting the arms, resting the hips, resting the feet. And then we'll plant the feet. Plant the feet. Bring the right ankle on top of the left thigh. Flex the right foot. And then pick up the left leg. Bring the hands around the left leg. And that could mean behind the thigh or to the front of the lower leg or to the left knee. Flex the right foot. Keep sending the right knee away from, we can say, from the arm or from the trunk. Go ahead and take some ankle rolls with that left foot since it's available. And then you can kind of relax the left foot and keep drawing the left leg in closer and closer, which essentially is getting the right leg closer and closer so that we could stretch the right hip. And we'll set the left foot down and then switch. Right foot down to the mat, left ankle on top of right thigh, and pull, lift that right leg and then pull that in, using the arms for support. So we're supporting that right leg so that that right leg itself doesn't have to work right now. The arms are doing the activity for the right leg so that the left leg can stretch. Always remembering we're working with the whole body, not just individual parts. It's impossible just to work with one little spot like that in the way that we're doing it. The whole unit. I'm not going to say impossible. I'm going to take that one back. Nothing's impossible. This is a reclining pigeon's posture. Some people call it thread the needle. So, you know, whatever works, whatever sticks for us. Take about 3 more deep breaths. And then we'll release this. Bring the knees in. Take the arms out to a T or to L shapes and fold the knees over to the right. Keep the shoulder blades down. Turn the head to the left. Inhale the knees to center. You can scooch the hips a little to the right and then take the knees to the left. Inhale, bring the knees to center, give them a big squeeze. And what we'll do is just plant the feet, lift the hips for a moment, come into a bridge posture, just a very simple, quick little bridge posture, and then lower the hips down. And from here, we'll get ready for Shavasana. So you can plant the feet to the edges, bring the feet to the edges of the mat, not planting soles of the feet, but bringing heels there, and then turning toes away from each other, and then releasing the arms alongside the body, palms flipped upwards, and just allow yourself to stay relaxed completely in this position. Just for a moment, notice what that's like. How relaxed are you? And can we get a little further relaxed? So let's do what we did earlier. We'll tense the whole body on the inhalation, just like we worked with the eyes and the mouth earlier. So on the inhale, create fists, clench the eyes, the jaw, clench the toes, activate the glutes, everything that you can activate. And then exhale, release out through the mouth and let everything go and feel the body totally release so that you can do this again and get even further. Inhale, create tension. Exhale, let go. Inhale, create tension. Exhale, let go completely. And allowing every part of your being to be in this state that is rest. And in the state of rest, there is no tension. There is no tension in the state of rest. In the state of relaxation, everything is open. Everything is free. And this is the place, the state that we can connect to that deeper nature within us, that divine nature that we remember at the beginning of our class. And in this, I'll read to you a prayer by Rudolf Steiner. And as you hear my words, just sink into my words. May light and warmth from the divine spirit of the cosmos enfold me. May light and warmth from the divine spirit of the cosmos enfold me. May light and warmth from the divine spirit of the cosmos enfold me. Resting. Without changing anything, shift your awareness back to the body. Notice the body, the changes in the body. Notice the breath. Let the breath get deeper. Notice the mind, changes in the mind. Remembering that you can come to this state at any time. It doesn't require everything that we've done in every way exactly as we've done it. There are many, many ways to come to the state of mind, the state of being. And now, feeling the after effects of this practice, begin to move the hands and the feet. As you're still lying on the back, I'm not there with you, I'm seated, but as you're lying on the back, start to feel, take the arms behind, bring the feet closer together, find some length in the whole body. And when you bring the knees into the chest, give a little bit of rocking side to side. Before we close our practice, we're going to find our way to seated. I always like to make sure that something occurs with the neck very intentionally, and today we didn't get there. So once you rise up, as we all eventually meet here, now if you're happy to lie down and you're falling asleep, feel free to fall asleep. Maybe even shut the program down so that you can continue to rest. But otherwise, once you find a seat, just take some circles with the head. You might take chin to chest first, and then rotate. These big movements with the head. When you find the chin to chest again, rotate the other way. And once you find chin to chest, you can shake the head out and bring the head to center. We're going to close our practice. You can bring palms together, thumbs to the heart center. Relax the face. Now I'll just remind us what the meaning of our mantra was when we began. As I bow to the presence of the divine within, our true and highest teacher that lives in and around us as being, consciousness, and bliss. It is ever present and radiates peace, lighting the way to transformation. Radiates peace. It is our highest teacher. Being, consciousness, and bliss. And let this fill your day today. We're going to close with Mangala Mantra to send this calm state that we are in, this relaxed state. This is when our minds are most powerful. So we send out loving thoughts to the whole world. We send out warmth and peace and calm. We let that memory of the teacher within all of us, that true and highest teacher, that divine nature within us, and we see if we can help others remember that that's real, even if we don't know it perfectly yet, that it's real, it's possible. And in this time, we hope for everyone to find that teacher within. And so I'll offer that mantra. We'll chant Om, followed by Shanti. Svasti prajabhyah paripalayantam nyayena margena mahi mahisha go brahmanebhyah shubhamastu nityam loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Deep breath in. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me today. I honor the light in you that is the same light in me. Namaste. Thank you for being here. Really appreciate all of you and your presence. It really does make me feel so much closer to you. You can feel free to stick around. I have been closing sessions with sounds of the singing bowls. And while it's not the most ideal sound, because this is not a microphone meant for musical instruments, it's still kind of nice. Namaste. See you soon.